Long ago, in the very first days of the world, when the earth was still young and humanity was just beginning to multiply, something terrible started to happen. People began to turn away from God. Violence and wickedness spread like a shadow across the land. Evil thoughts ruled people's hearts day and night. The beautiful, good world that God had created was now drowning in sin. The Bible tells us something heartbreaking. The Lord saw how great the wickedness of the human race had become, and his heart was deeply troubled. But even in a world covered by such darkness, there was one man who stood out. His name was Noah. Noah was a righteous man who walked faithfully with God. While everyone else chose to do evil, Noah chose to obey. While others ignored God's voice, Noah listened. And because he listened, God spoke to him. God told Noah something truly shocking. I am going to send a flood of waters upon the earth to destroy all life under the heavens. Can you imagine hearing those words? The world had never seen a storm like that before. Some scholars even believe it might not have rained at all back then. Yet, God was warning of a flood so powerful it would cover the entire earth. But God didn't just warn of destruction, he also gave Noah a plan for salvation. Build an ark, God said. This wasn't just a small boat. It was an enormous vessel about 450 feet long, which is longer than a football field. God gave Noah very detailed instructions. Make it out of gopher wood, cover it with pitch inside and out to make it waterproof, and build 3 separate decks inside. This massive ark was meant to save Noah, his wife, his 3 sons Shem, Ham, and Japheth and their wives. But they weren't the only ones. God also commanded, bring into the ark 2 of every kind of living creature, male and female, to keep them alive with you. Imagine the incredible sight. Lions walking beside lambs, elephants towering over deer, birds of every kind filling the sky, all moving in pairs toward the ark. And the Bible tells us very simply, Noah did everything just as God commanded him. For years and years, Noah worked. He hammered, he cut wood, and he preached, warning people of what was coming. But nobody listened. They laughed at him. They mocked his strange project. They completely ignored his warnings. Then, the day finally came. God said to Noah, enter the ark, Noah, his family, and all the animals went inside. And then, something powerful happened. The Bible says that God himself shut the door. And the rain began. It wasn't just a drizzle or a normal storm. Rain poured down for 40 days and 40 nights. The fountains of the great deep burst forth, and water rose from the ground as it fell from the sky. The floodwaters lifted the ark high above the earth. Homes vanished, mountains were covered, and everything living outside the ark perished. For 150 days, the waters covered the entire earth, but the ark, carrying its precious cargo, floated safely on the surface, because when God gives an instruction, he also provides protection. After many months, the rain stopped, and the Bible says, God remembered Noah. He sent a wind to sweep across the earth, and slowly, the waters began to go down. Eventually, the ark came to rest on the mountains of Ararat. Noah waited patiently inside. He sent out a raven, which flew back and forth. Then, he sent out a dove, but it returned because there was no dry land to rest on. 7 days later, Noah sent the dove out again. This time, it came back with something incredible in its beak, a freshly plucked olive leaf. It was a sign of life, a sign of hope, a sign that the waters were finally receding. After another 7 days, Noah sent the dove out one last time, and it did not return. The earth was dry. God then said to Noah, come out of the ark. Imagine stepping onto solid ground after nearly a year inside. The world was quiet, fresh, and washed clean. And the very first thing Noah did wasn't to build a house for himself. He built an altar and worshiped God. In that moment, God made a promise. He promised to never again destroy the earth with a flood. And as a sign of this covenant, he placed a rainbow in the sky. To this day, whenever we see a rainbow, it's a reminder of God's incredible mercy that judgment is not his final word. Grace is. The story of Noah is so much more than just a tale about animals and rain. It's about obedience in a corrupt world. It's about having faith when everyone else doubts. It's about salvation through God's divine plan, about judgment mixed with mercy, and about a new beginning after destruction. Noah trusted God when it made no logical sense. He obeyed when others laughed at him. He endured when the storm raged. And because of his faith, humanity was preserved. The ark was a place of refuge, the flood was a cleansing, and the rainbow was a promise. Today, this ancient story still speaks to us. It tells us that even when the world seems dark, you can still walk faithfully with God. When the storms of life come, obedience brings protection. And after every storm, God paints the sky with hope. Thank you for watching. If this story moved you, please like, share, and subscribe for more content like this.